Back again already with the third proper video on my channel. I was going to do a top 100 rewards video towards the end of last week, but the team of the week was absolutely horrendous, so that'll be getting saved until at least this week, depending on, of course, how good the team of the week is. Anyway, for those of you that watched the last video, you'll know that I finished on 76 out of 80, put me about 25th in Europe, but only about one win away from 8th and 9th place. Obviously the top 10 in Europe is where we need to be come the end of the month. So anyway, let's get straight back into this week's games. So into the first game, and as you can see, this guy is using our least favourite opposing formation. Now, as I did last week, I'm just going to show you what I do at the start of every weekend league game. As you can see, he's at kick-off here, so I haven't had a chance to pause it straight away, so I just sprint after the ball. As soon as I get a foot on the ball, I pause it and I make these changes. I go 4-3-1-2, which is what I felt most comfortable with in the second half of last week. I tell the strikers to get in behind, the fullbacks to stay back, and everything else on default. Now, I don't want this to sound like an excuse for how these first few games went, but going into this latest weekend league, I did have a bit of a problem. A few days before it started, I was playing football with my friends, I went in goal, and I did actually manage to sprain my wrist saving a shot. So the next few days, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it was really swollen, I couldn't really do anything with it, I couldn't really hold the controller properly. Thursday night, I had a few games on seasons, didn't go well, it just didn't feel comfortable. My thumb was really stiff, my index finger was really stiff, and it didn't look good at all. And I was thinking to myself, how unlucky can you be, getting an actual physical injury that could stop me playing in the weekend league, and I'm only one win away from the top 10. But came around, to Friday morning, Friday dinner, I decided to get some painkillers in and give it my best shot. And as you can see here, I only went ahead, the 60th minute in my first game of the weekend league. Things were not looking too well. But anyway, a win is a win. Now, as you can see, yet again we're coming up against our most hated opposing formation, the 4-3-3 attack. I've said many times how much this smothers 4-3-1-2 and the diamond. I just simply don't know how to deal with it at all, which is shown quite clearly here when he slices me open, slots it with Hernandez, then runs to the corner flag like it's the highlight of his entire life. That always annoys me when people, watch all the replays and, run around celebrating for it. But luckily from the kick-off, I get it with Griezmann, bang it across goal, and I'm back in the lead. Just after that as well, I give it to Ronaldo here, I turn the defender, I do a fake shot to cancel out what I was going to do, get the perfect angle for the driven shot and hit it, and it's 3-1. However, he does get a late goal here, but I will take absolutely no displeasure in telling you this is the last time that he touches the ball in this game. Next up was this guy, Thomas Nogueiras. Now this was, without doubt, one of the most stressful games I had all weekend. We do get off to a decent start here. Have some quick dribbling by Griezmann, a good pass, and Bale slots it into the bottom right. At which point I'm thinking, this is going to be, your average easy weekend league win. However, I was proved wrong when he turns me twice with Mahrez, finesses it across goal, great finish, and then he runs into the crowd and watches every single replay. Something which really pisses me off. However, it doesn't piss me off as much as this does when Suarez with a Berber spin hits a finish and 7 yards out, De Gea makes a stupid save, bounces back, hits the bar, onto Bale, De Gea makes another stupid save, and at this point I'm thinking this could be one of those games. However, I do get a bit of luck here with a quick rebound through Hazard, who then puts it into the top corner. Now, I've shown you the full build up to this because this is how you defend a short free kick just inside your own half. The second that they hit that pass, spam offside trap immediately and they will not have a single safe option to pass it, and 9 times out of 10 they will give the ball away and you'll be able to counter it like I just did and pretty much end the contest. However, I do have time for one more goal. Just before half time of extra time, Hazard cuts it back, Mertens finishes it, and that was me done for Friday. So our next game, we didn't actually play until Saturday. I thought to myself, I'll give my wrist 24 hours rest, take some more painkillers, see if the swelling does go down at all. You know, I woke up the next day, it felt quite silly, you know, I was still a bit uncomfortable, couldn't hold the controller properly, and I still was really struggling in the majority of my games. As you see with Hazard, I'm chasing around, so I'm thinking, it's okay, you know, it's Hazard on his left foot, wide of goal, but what a finish that is. Brilliant driven finish. I mean, although this guy was a very annoying opponent, can't take that away from him, that was some goal. Luckily though, he gives me it back here, slot Griezmann through. Of course Butland's going to save it, it's not along the ground. Luckily it bounces straight back to Bale, who puts us back into the lead. And this game was quite tight, you know, until right about the 73rd minute. He gets a corner, works it very well, slots it in with Dybala, and again he runs around. I mean, what is it? I mean, don't get me wrong, I've been on the block when it comes to, you know, competitive FIFA. Why does everyone celebrate every goal against me? Like, it's the best moment of their life. Anyway though, he gets very unlucky as he slides to block a pass of Ronaldo. He gets Eric Bailly undeservedly red carded. It was a penalty. Never ever is that a red card. Not that I care, because I'm about to slot him with Modric and give him a taste of his own medicine as I run and celebrate in the crowd and watch every single replay and love every minute of it. I do have time though to grab one more goal just before the end. Ronaldo into Pogba, McGeady spin, bounces back to him a bit luckily, stops it dead into Mertens, smashes it in the bottom corner, and now it's time to get my own back. I shush him all the way back to the halfway line and then give him a dab, which I'm not going to do on camera. That last game, I had made my mind up that if at all, I was going to have to play my remaining 32 games all on Sunday night and give my wrist as much recovery time as I possibly could. You know, despite winning 8 out of 8, I was not feeling very comfortable at all. You know, I was struggling in a lot of the games. My fingers were aching, you know, my wrist was still really swollen, I couldn't hold the controller properly, it just wasn't feeling right. So I thought, just for this week, I'm going to have to forget about skill points and skill rating and just play as many games on Sunday night as possible. I mean, it got to, you know, 6 PM Sunday, I turned on my PS4, it said like 13 hours remaining, 32 games, and I was like, wow, I really need to get moving. As you've seen, Suarez has just turned in the box, finesse one into the top corner in what was a very delayed game. As you see here, I do try and pass it with Modric, he doesn't do it for me, he passes it to Walcott. I'd make a terrible challenge which wasn't helped by the delay, and he makes it 2-2, and at this point I'm thinking, not again, you know, I just can't be dealing with this. But luckily though, from kick-off, I run down the wing with Marcelo, up into Griezmann, into Suarez, into Ronaldo, sidesteps the defender, driven shot across goal, and we've got ourselves back ahead. Now Kyle Walker into Pogba, gives it to Modric, he's going to slot it through to Griezmann, quick Berber turn and finesse it into the top corner, and that was GG for my first game of Sunday. Next up is this absolutely amazing player who, despite having a fairly decent team, decided that he needed an attribute card on every single one of his players. I did really struggle to create chances, which was mostly because of the attribute cards. You know, his players just felt faster, they seemed to get away everything quicker, probably because of the boosted stats. But just before half time, I do manage to get a second and the game is over. Now, you think to yourself, after a game like that, what's the last thing you expect to come up against? And it's probably another team full of attribute cards, and here we are again, next opponent, another amazing player with an attribute card on every single player. Luckily for me though, there is no attribute card in the game that can stop Antoine Griezmann's outside of his left foot. Simply does not miss. And just before half time again, we pick it up with Bale into Griezmann, turns past the defender, whips it in the near post, and that is all this attribute card loser could take, as straight from kick-off he pauses it and he's had enough. Going into my 20th and final game of this video, all I could think of myself was, please don't have any attribute cards. Luckily for me, this guy was a fair play, decided not to use any boosted players. But sadly for me, he did have Butland, who continued all weekend to make saves against me like that. However, it falls upon before the opening goal, and we're on course for 20 wins and no losses at the halfway stage. Quick Berber spin by Bailey, waits for the perfect moment to give it to Griezmann, driven shot across goal, bottom corner, 2-0, and that's pretty much game over, because to be honest, I cannot remember the last time I gave away a 2-0 lead in the weekend league. But just to add insult to injury, we get a penalty here out of absolutely nothing. Poor touch, poor pass, poor everything really, poor tackle. I don't know where that came from. Referee gives a penalty. Modric is about to do what he's done for every single penalty he's taken from me, just roll it into the bottom corner, and understandably that is all this guy could take, as soon as kick off he decided to quit, which left our record looking like this at the halfway stage. So for the second week in a row we have got off to the perfect start of 20 wins and 0 losses. Not bad for someone who couldn't even grip the controller properly at times. Please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed the video, and keep an eye out for part 2, which will be coming in the next couple of days.